Hey, Gatsby here.
俺はな、もともと宇宙から来たんだ。俺を発信した星はとっくに食われちまっただろうが、俺の使命は終わってね。俺は奴を食い尽くす。
それはいつ地球に？
人間の時間でだいたい2000年後だ。
Well, Gatsby, was it everything you asked for?
Good guess, but actually no.
Digimon is a series that reflects on the human experience with technology. In 1997, Digimon provided its take on the virtual pet popularized at the time by Tamagotchi, and in 99, at the turn of the century, we got Digimon Adventure, followed up by a series high point that used the greatest technological advance in human history as the main stage for a fight that captured the imagination of millions. Y2K brought a continuation of Adventure, with emphasis placed on the first W in WWW. And then in 2001, we had Digimon Tamers, which gave us its increasingly impressive when you consider that the franchise even managed to perfectly predict the explosive flood of unasked for sequels and remakes with Digimon 2020. Also, yeah, sorry guys, I haven't watched Data Squad or Fusion yet, so I'll just assume Data Squad is like the Bully Hunters thing, and Fusion is like those Michael Bay Transformers films. Alright, first things first. Do I regret anything I said in the first video? No. Was Ghost Game really everything I asked for in a Digimon series? Well, honestly, after the Adventure reboot, I was just starting to wonder how much more use I'd be getting out of this soundbite while talking about Digimon. A lackluster reboot reminiscent of a drunken uncle lazily key jangling in the face of an infant that I could most easily equate to a run on New Game Plus, where the original cast acts exactly like you remember them. Ty's courageous, Matt's friendly, and Gabumon with zero character development and a bunch of lazy references that don't contribute to the overall content of the show. It's little wonder why the show that decided to skip on building a proper foundation for any of its characters failed to capture even a shred of interest for me not even a month after airing. Comparatively, in the first 20 episodes, Ghost Game knocked it out of the fucking park, with a cast of characters I genuinely enjoyed except for one of them, so at this point you can leave your bets in the comments. Unlike the previous season, it seems like that key jangling uncle sobered up enough to not drop his keys on your face. Referenced Digimon from previous seasons actually served a purpose and had some personality to them, with some even becoming reoccurring characters, giving the show a Digimon world feel to it, with the town being more and more populated with Digimon looking to help in very specific scenarios. This is exactly what I was asking for. A satisfying new direction with enjoyable characters and decent animation. Sure, it's a bit predictable, there's a ghost, no wait, Digimon, no wait, just an asshole, with each episode ending with the daily rabbit fortune cookie reading. I was a bit surprised though when I started reading comments and I saw a good number of people leaving complaints about pacing issues. Sure, in between each episodes we'd have a couple of dark shadowy figures appear like breadcrumbs to convince people of a serialized effort, with later episodes replacing the aforementioned shadows with a mysterious guiding force leading Digimon to the human realm. I understand how this could frustrate viewers, but the problem here isn't pacing but purpose. As an episodic show, Ghost Game is a very enjoyable experience. In Digimon 2020, despite being painfully boring for the most part, every 20 episodes we'd have a change in backdrop that would give us the illusion of change in the status quo. Each batch of episodes would check the boxes, followed by 2 to 3 episodes to shake things up, ending the cycle with a description of what's the next road trip. This did fairly little for me, and thankfully Ghost Game opted out of this approach, instead having the cast travel to different vistas in order to experience a wider variety of ghost stories. And in my opinion, the episodes were great, but with this, a new problem. Each episode felt like it could effortlessly be swapped around, with the only change made being what Digi-Evolution stage threat are we dealing with this week. That is the nature of an episodic show though, and generally speaking, it's always going to be easier to digest these shows than a serialized one. Instead of needing 50 episodes of prior knowledge, you just need to know that this fucking blue rat still doesn't believe that this is the real hero of Manakawa. And yes, by the way, when Espymon arrived, I got really excited. A messenger from Hokuto who's looking for his son? Are we actually going to go to the digital world for the second half of this season? Is Espymon the key to whatever the hell Gamamon is to Gamamon? Did his dad actually fuck? Oh, wait a minute, hold on. He was told Hiro looks exactly like his dad and he's going to take that literally? Well, I mean, after watching Hiro and Friends dunk on Monster of the Week. Oh, wait, he doesn't? Well, I mean, I understand Ruri and Kyoshiro not asking about it, but Hiro usually asks questions. Oh, wait, he just shrugs it off and accepts that this Digimon who knows his dad isn't going to provide any useful information. The inclusion of Espymon frustrated me more than any supposed pacing issues people have been bitching about. Why even introduce Espymon if you're literally going to do nothing with him for most of the season? He only comes to terms with being wrong after Hero digivolves him despite watching Hero digivolve Gamamon for the better half of a year. Well, if they did that, then the writers would have to stop writing episodic adventures and actually be required to do something outside of the regularly scheduled ghost stories. I mean, his dad could have characterized Hero and Gamamon a million different ways, but forcing the progression of the story to a grinding halt for no other reason than Espymon is Ghost Game's second biggest issue. But let's talk about the characterization that Espymon could have used to identify the real Hero Amanakawa. Because at this point in the story, Hero hasn't seen his dad since the beginning of the show, so he might have changed a little bit during his absence. Well, let's see, by the end of the show, Hero Amanakawa is a responsible yes man who is very handy and asks the right questions. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Well, Ruri Sukiono is an adventurous girl who... Oh god. Well, I mean, yeah, but at least Kyoshiro is... Yeah, that's my actual number one problem with this show. Let's go ahead and take a detour real quick. Apple Monster is a show that 5 people watch that follows Haru Shinkai, a good kid who's a bit shy and meek. At the beginning of the season, a vending machine asks him if he's the main character. But by the end of the show, you know he's the main character because he evolves into a more confident, able person who's less afraid of the situation he finds himself in. You could say the same for each of the characters. Astora, Eri, Rei, Yujin, holy shit, Yujin. Each of these characters have their own development from introduction to conclusion in a serialized story where things are allowed to change. By no means am I saying Applemon is perfect, but it does highlight one of my favorite aspects of Digimon in that the characters are allowed to and expected to change. What an incredibly satisfying feel that's completely absent in Ghost Game. And in some ways, this is due to each character already being their best selves by the introduction. Hiro's already the responsible character asking the right questions, Ruri's already the investigator with a sense for adventure, and Kyoshiro, well, he learns how to get over his fears, but he already did that in the introduction episode, and it was a 10 out of 10 there for a reason. Each character was given very little room to grow, and it shows. Maybe somewhere down the line, Hiro learns to say no instead of just going with the flow, or Ruri learns that some rocks don't need to be turned over. Or Kyoshiro, yeah, never mind, he's actually perfect. But we never see any kind of drastic change in character because that would be abrasive to the episodic nature of the show. With Gamamon, we see character development from episodes 13 and 14, which is why they stand out. But beyond that, the only changes we see are the friends we made along the way. To me, Ghost Game is still a solid 7 out of 10 popcorn anime that's very worth watching if you like the first batch of episodes. The animation's on point and the spooky aesthetic is used perfectly through and through. And with all this said, I'd still love to see a continuation of Ghost Game because I do think it's a great direction to move in. But at the same time, I get worried that if we get more shows like this, it'll be more difficult to pitch a Digimon series with a serialized approach. At the time of writing this, they've given us the announcement that we're at the end of the season, but like 2020, you can go earn that well-animated multi-part episode instead of having me spoil any of it. But I can't imagine my overall opinion will change much because of the fundamental issues I have with the structure of the show.
じゃあ必要なことなんじゃ。
It's only game. Why you have to be mad? But I love reading all the comments and appreciate you for making it this far. Let me know if there are other series you'd like me to cover and what you thought about Ghost Game. Thanks for watching.